So today we are going to look at the rent process, like what is required if you want to rent a property. And this is the most basic process that you must know. So we are going to talk about the prerequisites, like for example, what do you need to rent a property? And if you get a tenant, where do you get a tenant? And if there is a tenant in hand, what are the requirements that you need to check? What documents they should have? And what is the timeline that it takes to complete the process? So first and the foremost, we should have a listing or a property. For example, we have a townhouse listing, which is 3-bedroom, and let's suppose the rent amount is 140,000, and the owner is asking for 2 checks, 2 to 4 checks, let's suppose. And the owner also has some preferences, which we are going to discuss, like how you're going to check what kind of preferences they're looking for. This is the requirement for the owner. And then what you do generally is we list the properties online on the portals, which is Property Finder, Dubizzle, and Bayut. We will do the listing process as well later on. But once your property is listed with all the documents, what documents generally do we need from the owner's side when we are listing their properties, Dania? Passport copy with signature page. Or if they are resident, Emirates ID can also do. Front and back. The title deed of the property. Fahad, so we discussed the other day, title deed and uqud can be there. So can we write uqud as well as the ownership document? No, we cannot. Why do you think, Mansoor? Uqud is for, Rafia? Uqud is an ownership document for? Because uqud is an ownership document for under construction properties. So most of the time, a property which gets ready and is available for handover and rent, they are having a title deed. Maybe if it is a new property, it will take a few days to convert the uqud to title deed. But otherwise, we need a title deed. What else do we need, Dania? Good morning. We need the owner's primary details like email address, mobile number. And then what do we do, Dania, when we get all this information from the owner? How do we list it on the portal? What form is important? The NOC or the listing form. So once you have confirmation from an owner that I want to rent my property, you are going to ask them for certain documents so that you can list it online, so that it can go to all these 3 portals. What documents do we need? We need passport copy with signature page if they are non-residents. Otherwise, if they are residents, this or Emirates ID can do. Then we need the ownership proof that the property actually belongs to that person. So we need a title deed for that. And then, of course, we need their primary contact details like email address and mobile number. When we have all this information, we will prepare our listing form. I can share a format of a listing form on the group as well with everybody. Dania, do you have a listing form? Anybody has? Please put it on the group so they can also see. What do we have on the listing form and how do we fill it up?
If the owner is like a partner 50-50,
then we put both the names. If it is 2 partners or 10 partners
or you need both passports?
We need everything. We need the whole documentation proof that this person is in partnership, is owning the property in partnership with this person. So we will add in all the documents. If there is one partner, there can be a number of partners, by the way, in a property. It's up to them. We will procure all the documents, we'll put all the details from these documents, their passport number, email address, everything will come. Partner number 1, 2, 3, like that. But we need all that information to do it. Mansoor, have you shared a listing form? And let's see how does a listing form look like and what do we have there. Let me share a list. Yeah. A listing form, we call it, or an NOC. And remember, we're talking about a rental property right now. We're not talking about a sale property, but because for a sale property, the document that is required is a Form A, which is an electronic document, and we prepare it through RERA website. It's not here. So this is for rent, the form that we need to fill in with all the details. You guys can see the listing form over here. What details are there? The landlord details, like the important ones are the name of the landlord as per the title deed. This form is required when you are listing a property for rent. When you are listing a property for rent, there are certain prerequisites. You need to see the documents of the owner, like their passport copy with signature page or Emirates ID if they are residents, and their title deed, which is specific, which is specifying their ownership. It will have the same name as per the, so that you can verify, and the contact details of the owner, that this person actually owns the property, and these are the primary contact details. So we need all of that. You can see name, mobile number, email, nationality, and then first we'll have the owner's details. Of course, their passport number. If they're residents, then Emirates ID number. And if it is a company, then trade license and something else, some other requirements if there are any. This is, and again, it's mentioning here, like Mansoor asked, if it is a single owner, it's an individual, we put their details. If it is few partners in that property, we put all their details. If it is a company, then it's not an individual, right? So we will have the name of the company, their mobile number, email address, and the company's trade license. And later on, who is going to sign it? Because every company has a signatory or somebody who has authority to sign on the behalf of a board or on behalf of the members of the board and all that. So that particular signatory, which will have the power of attorney and their certain document which authorizes them, until or unless they have that, this form cannot be signed. So for a company to get this, we need that information as well. But we're just looking at one of the normal situations where the landlord is an individual. So first you put the landlord's data. Then you're going to put the property data, which is unit details. How many number of bedrooms? Property type. Rafia, what is property type?
Like villa, building.
Yeah, if it is a building, a villa, a plot, a townhouse, whatever. Unit type and status. What is unit type, Hiba?
Unit type, like apartment or studio.
It can, yeah, unit type can be a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or if it is in townhouses like a type A, type B, type 3, like that.
What's type A, type A?
In a certain community, you might have a system of floor plans. Yes, so specific to that particular cluster, there might be a type A, type B, type C, like that. So you're mentioning in townhouses and villas that, and generally in apartments, we put studios, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, whatever is there.
And also few buildings say it has tower A or tower B.
Yeah, like that. So whatever specification is there about that tower or the project, you mention it so that it's clear that this is the property that we're dealing with. And all this information is going to come from, Daniel? From the title deed. You don't need to ask the landlord, okay, where it is and all. Once you get all the documents, the ones we have mentioned, like the title deed, this is all your information from the title deed. And this is your information from the passport or Emirates ID. Then of course we have really detailed, it's a detailed, so unit number means what is the unit number or the townhouse number, or whether they have a balcony or not, what is the view, what is the size in square feet, what is the plot in square feet. So in townhouses and villas, we know that there is a difference in built up and plot area, so we'll mention specifically here what that is. Then how many number of bathrooms are there, does it has a pool, has a garden. Status means what is it, vacant, rented, or soon to be rented, whatever. For example, a property is getting handed over from the previous tenant end of this month, but I can still list it and I can write that the apartment will be, or the unit will be available from this date. So currently it's rented, but it's soon to be vacant, and this is the status. Of course, parkings. Fahad, where is the parking number mentioned? How do you get to know how many parkings are there with any property? Rafia? On the title deed. On the title deed, for in case of an apartment, it's mentioned over there, like parking number is mentioned, so we know. So we can write 1 parking or 2 parking or 3 parking, whatever the case may be. Then there is built up area. Dania, you know the difference between the built up area and the gross area?
Yes.
What is that?
The plot area is the total area of the villa.
Plot area is like the villa. In case of an apartment, what's the difference between the net carpet area and the gross area? Net carpet area is the area of the wall-to-wall area inside the apartment. Yeah, the gross area includes everything. Your balcony, space, a percentage of, and then your common areas and all that. So basically a built-up area, specifically, normally we use built-up area most of the time, everybody will ask you about that. That is your internal area. Okay, so
For apartment, do we need to write through both? Like
it's up to you if you want to, but mostly built-up area is more important. Whatever suits you here, you can use that. Then balcony, you can mention view, you can mention what is it. Is a garden view, it's a community view, it's a sea view, whatever the view is. Does it has a pool, a private pool or a community pool? How many number of bedrooms? If it is a townhouse or a villa, we discussed that day that on the title deed of a townhouse or a villa, what is mentioned, Rafia? The plot area. Not the built up area. The plot area is mentioned on the title deed of a townhouse or a villa. So that is what you're going to write here. But of course, if you have a floor plan, you'll know what's the built up area. So you can write the built up area as well. So this is the 2 halves of the, and then you can just write, there's certain other, a bit of other information as well over there, which is what is the rent, and who is the agent who is representing this property, and if there is any power of attorney involved, and what is the commission that is agreed if this person is paying. So if the landlord is paying any commission, you can also mention it here and get it signed from them, so that it is clear to them what they have to pay once you rent the property. Then there is a very important thing over here which we definitely should. On top of it, it says what? Exclusive, non-exclusive. Contract date. That means when the contract is starting. And then of course rent and sale. So all of this information is very important, and you only can fill up this form and list your property once you have received all the proper documents from the landlord side. Once you have the Emirates ID, passport copy, title deed, and the owner details like mobile number, email address, you will be able to fill up this. And in case this owner has a power of attorney and he is not here and the power of attorney is dealing with it, we will write the power of attorney details over here, and this form can be signed by the owner or by the power of attorney as well, because no representative can sign until they have a power of attorney, which is a legal document to represent someone by court. So otherwise, so basically once you, Trahisi is not for you to fill in. for you is to fill in this one. Intricacies is the system from which we will generate a permit for this particular listing form or this listing when we are putting it online. So that is a backend system that these guys will generate a permit and they will put it up. For you guys, you just need to fill this up and submit it to the listing, and they will just take care of the intricacy later on. But intricacy is basically the permit. Without, no property can be advertised without having a permit on it. So that's very important. This is clear?
And what's the meaning of tenancy contract?
Tenancy contract is your contract basically that specifies like what are the terms and conditions of the tenancy, your rental agreement, whatever your rental agreement is, that's your tenancy contract for the year. Any other questions? This is clear. This is how we're going to list. So once we have
What if an owner has given the details to more than 3 agents? Can you still try to do the listing?
no.
Maybe on rentals?
Yeah, I think it's the same on rentals as well, because a permit, it's not about the form, it's about how many times the permit is getting generated. Yeah. So once we have these documents, or let's say in case there's a power of attorney documents, or in case it's a company, then trade license, as well as the signing authority documents. Once we have all of this, and one more important thing, what that is, Harsh, you're going to list this property and you have all of this. And you go to the portal and you go to the CRM and you put in all the information. What is missing still? Oh yeah, the NOC or the listing form. And these are the documentation, right? What else do you need to list a property? Pictures, very important. So you need a minimum of 10 pictures or 12 pictures, depending on what kind of property it is. Bedrooms, the view, maybe a few pictures of the building lobby. If it is a townhouse, like a garden, view from the bedroom, something, whatever is good. So you need to have clear pictures as well. At least on an average 10 pictures or more you can add, depending on how ambitious you are to sell and how you want to promote your property. So once you have all of this, you can then go to the CRM and list your unit online. And then from the CRM, it will go towards all these portals, which are property portals like Property Finder. That's how you see the listings online. All these people have completed this process and they have gone there. Dubizzle and Bayou. These are the 3 portals that we are using, and these are the most famous portals in Dubai as well for property. If somebody is looking for a property, they will definitely go to one of these and start contacting agents. So once you have done this process and the property is live and it goes through and it goes to these portals, what are you going to get? Danya? Yes, we are going to get leads. People are going to see our listing online on these portals. They can click and contact us or call us or send us an email or a WhatsApp message, whatever is their convenient way of communication, and we will get the details of this person. So let's take an example of our property that we said before, and somebody has contacted me. It's a client. Let's say the client's name is Mohammed. And he's asked that, okay, I have seen your property. just recently online, and I want to know if it is still available. So you're going to say what, Tanya? How do you just take a call when somebody calls you about a listing that you've done online? What do you say?
Yes, it is available.
It is available, that's all. So I'm somebody, I'm calling you. Like, hi, I've seen this property online. It's a 3-bedroom townhouse. I want to see it.
Okay. Hello. What's your good name, please?
My name is Mohammed.
Hi, Mr. Mohammed. So, are you looking? It is a rental lead, right?
Yes, it's come in for a property which is available for rent. Let's suppose it's a townhouse.
For rent, and when would you like to view it?
Just imagine it is a 4-bedroom townhouse listed at 180K in Villanova. And
First question will also ask: are you looking for yourself or for a client?
yes, you can ask that. So guys, the first and the foremost you're going to do is to greet the client, to say the gratitude, thank you very much for your call. And whenever you're picking a call, you have to sound really professional. It's not like, huh, yes, how, yeah, it's available. You can't be like that. So you have to, if you want to be professional, you should prepare a pitch for yourself, a ready-made pitch that you can immediately say that, let's suppose when my phone rings and it says Bayut, yeah, the call is coming from Bayut, because there you will know when the call is coming from Property Finder or Bayut, because these are redirected numbers. You will not see the client's number on the first go. You will just see a landline number which says Bayut or Property Finder or Dubizel. And then later on,
Can the customer take the number or my number from the profile and score?
no, this is how the system works. So in the portals, when they click and call you, it's a recorded line.
So if they call from the portal, not to copy the number and take it.
If they copy the number and call you, it's different. But generally, people don't do that. People just click and call. So when they click and call, it's routed from the portals, this thing, to us. And when, let's suppose, if you will call someone from there, you will hear that it's going to be a recorded call. So for it to be recorded, they definitely have the system in place. So when I'm speaking to the client, when I receive my call from Bayut, it will say Bayut. It will come from Bayut's number. It's redirected. And so I generally say this when I pick up a call, when I see that this is Bayut calling me, I'll say, thank you very much for this call. This is Farba. How may I help you? How may I assist you today? Whatever is your best way to put it across. Or you can greet, let's suppose, hi, good morning. This is Farba. How can I assist you with your property inquiry? Or how can I assist you with your inquiry from Bayut? Whatever you want to say looks professional and good. You can't just say, hi, yes, it's available. It doesn't sound professional and it doesn't sound nice, and it sounds a bit rude and off to anybody who is calling you for a property. Understand, guys, this is a service industry. And the most important thing being in a service industry is your etiquette, is your attitude and etiquette and the way and your communication style. If you are abrupt, you might not be rude, but you will sound rude. And if you are just, if you think that you are, let's suppose you get a call late in the evening and you're probably resting or sleeping or whatever, but you still want to take the call. So you're not going to say, yes, hello, like, you're not going to do that, right? You're going to get up, maybe clear your throat, and then again say the same thing. Thank you for calling on this number. This is Farba. How can I assist you today with your property-related inquiry? One simple line, but repeat that, because that is your introduction to somebody who is inquiring, and this is your first impression. Your first impression has to be strong and professional. The other day we encountered a bit of a situation where somebody spoke to the other person very politely, but in a very candid way, which came across to the other person as, that's why I'm saying when you are on the call, it's very important to focus on what you are saying and how you are saying it. Because the other person do not know you, they have no previous rapport with you, they don't know what kind of a person you are, they don't know if you're professional or unprofessional, they don't know if you have a good heart or if you're ethical, they don't know all of that, right? They're just listening to your voice, your sound of your voice, and then they are creating this picture in their head. And if somebody candidly speak to someone, they are speaking for the first time, the other person might come across, am I your friend? Why are you talking to me like this? This is a professional conversation. So That's why it's very important. And again, as I say before as well, that this impression is very important that we create on the first call, whether it is calling someone or receiving somebody's call. Because if you're not professional and you don't sound that way, you don't give the right impression to the other person, and they will like, this is a casual broker and probably not so professional, honestly speaking, and maybe I will or I will not deal with them. Becomes a choice, and people don't like to deal with people who are so. I wouldn't. Would you, Daniel? Would you like to deal with a broker who is very candidly talking to you? Yeah. And then do not jump to Urdu if you think that the person sounds like somebody who wants. Take permission. Take permission if you want to. If you think it will be a better conversation if you will change your language. Let's suppose if you are Arabic and the other person calling is also Arabic, but if the other person is still speaking in English, please only speak in English. If the other person, let's suppose, is speaking Hindi or Urdu, whatever language, and you think that you can better communicate with them in that language, there's no harm in doing that, but do not jump to it on your own until or unless they will change the language, or unless they will, or if you want to, you feel that will be better, take permission. Do not do it on your own just like that, because it doesn't sound nice. I have also encountered this thing where somebody is speaking and just thinking that I would like to speak in Urdu, let's suppose. I don't want to in that particular context, because it becomes very casual for me then, and for the other person also. And I don't want that casual, because it's a professional call and I want to keep it professional, correct? So that is why first listen, understand, then respond. Do not just think that the other person wants to. It's very important. So whenever you receive a call, let's suppose this is my property and it's available for rent from 1st of November. The owner is specifically said that they are looking for, if they will take one check, they can reduce the rent to 170K, or up till 180K, they will go to 4 checks. And if somebody wants like 6 checks, they can do that by doing it 185K. I'm just giving you a bit of a scenario that the owner came with this specification. He doesn't care if the number of checks are changed, but what he has given you is a plan that he has in mind, that I can, if somebody is giving me 1 check, I can go with lower amount and I can negotiate a bit. But if somebody is going for higher number of checks, I will increase my rent to these amounts. And they have understood, agreed, and signed a form with them, the listing form, that this is how it is going to be. Apart from that, the owner has also put in several other restrictions or has a certain requirement from the tenant, which generally a lot of people do have here because of their own previous experiences, not because we have some general discrimination or anything in terms of nationality or anything. However, people, if they are renting properties to certain nationalities or certain group of people or certain individuals from certain backgrounds and companies, they might be prejudiced about, they might have some certain kind of preference about that, and they don't want to, give it to certain people with certain backgrounds. Let's put it that way. So let's suppose this guy is saying that I have a certain this thing. Let's suppose he says that I don't want to give it to anyone with, let's suppose, should I?
British. Don't want to give it to British.
Let's suppose he says I don't want to give it to British people. It's a very sensitive topic. I don't want to be very specific because people have their preferences and you will know them firsthand. Do not assume, as I'm saying again and again and again. Never ever assume, ask. Do you have any preferences like that? They will say 1, 2, 3, 4, this is my preference. I don't want this nationality or this person background, this kind of person which comes from this. For example, people don't want to rent it to people who are from real estate. That also happens. Yeah, because a lot of real estate people are working on commission structure. Anybody who is working on a commission-based structure and don't have a stable salary, people would not like to give it to them because they don't know, there is a higher risk that they will do a lease break, correct? People also don't want to give it to people who are not really upfront about how many members of family are they bringing in. Or let's suppose if somebody is renting a studio and the wife is pregnant, the owner probably will refuse to give it to them because then they'll have a baby very soon and then the apartment will be very small and he will be probably thinking about that this space is small. Maybe these guys cannot afford it, but from a owner's perspective, this is a small space, so the property will not be really well maintained. So that is why there are certain preferences that you must keep in mind. A lot of people who have smaller properties, pets, they will say, I will only rent it to a single guy or a single girl. Because it's just a studio. It's not meant for two people. There are studios for 700 square feet also, and there are studios 250 square feet as well. So you would know, and the owner would know better, and with his previous experience, he has all these preconceived notions and these ideas that this is what I want to give my property. This is the kind of person I want to give my property to, and this is their choice. They have the right to their choice. So you, as a broker, your job is to be very, very clear, because what I've seen is a lot of the times people are working with a landlord and they are doing viewings and they have been going up and down. They do a lot of effort. They do go take pictures, then they go up and down, do the viewings in another area, burning petrol, this and that, and eventually some other broker rents it out. And they're like, what did I do wrong? How come I brought this person, that person, this person, and this person just brought one person and he gave it to him? So you have to understand that whatever, let's suppose the clientele you were bringing was not up to the mark of this guy. So where was the problem? Profiling the client, where you didn't write down or understand the landlord's preferences.
So we can ask everything on our call?
Yes, you can, and they will like it. Who doesn't like clarity, right? Who doesn't like clarity? If somebody is going to ask you for anything, you want to be clear about anything, right? And in professionalism, this is very, very professional attitude to get clarity on the standard of preference from this guy you are renting the property to. So what we need to do is understand the landlord's preference, what kind of person he wants in the apartment, so that the closing becomes easy, so that the decision becomes easy, so that your effort doesn't go to waste. And then I will come to this thing that when I will receive leads, I will profile them accordingly, and I will not waste my time taking this client for a viewing, because I know that this landlord will probably not accept this client. You getting it? Hence, we are going to understand the landlord's perspective and what are the different kind of questions we're going to ask them. Let me just put it here so that we can. How do you define landlord's preferences? Okay, Fahad, give me one reason, one preference that I should ask the landlord. Like, of course, the rent amount, rent and range. For example, the lowest he can go to is 175, and the highest number of checks he can go to is 6 with 185K, and this is one check. Okay, his rent amount and his range of number of checks. This is clear. This is the financial part. Now we come towards the preference part. Sometimes if it is a furnished property, again, people don't like to give it to families with kids because they might damage the furniture more. In that case, what we do is we take higher deposit as well. For furnished property, we can take up to. Deposit can be up from, this is the market norm, between 5 to 10% of rent amount. And generally, if a property is very highly furnished, this is what we do. Why do we do that? If there is any damage later on and all, because it's a completely furnished property, then we can deduct it from the deposit amount that we have. What happened? Okay. Now, coming to the preferences, ask about the nationality. If he has any kind of certain preference towards nationalities, ask it very clearly over here so that it doesn't become a waste effort for you later on. What else is there? Yes, always ask how many members of family are you, what is the size of family that you're comfortable with giving your apartment? For example, there is a 3-bedroom apartment somebody is renting and it has a 3.5 bathroom also. Like every room has an ensuite bathroom and then you have an extra. But he will still have a preference. You can't put more than 2 people in a room, right? And somebody comes in with a 10-member family. They are family. He's not subleasing or doing anything. The landlord has a right to say no. So you ask them, sir, what is the size of family you would prefer? If it is studio, would you prefer a couple? Would you prefer somebody with a baby? Would you prefer a single person, they will tell you, I want a single lady, single working lady, or a single executive guy, or whatever their preference is. So size of family and number of people that you can put in an apartment, ask his preference. Secondly, of course, first you will check if the building is pet friendly or not, but if the building is pet friendly, still ask the owner that, are you okay with tenants who have pets? And even classify cats, dogs, which are the most common ones. And a lot of people are not okay with having dogs in their apartment, no matter what, or even cats. So again, get this preference, because you might get a very good tenant and all of it, like what is her name? Naba had this client, and then she had a pet. At the last moment, the deal was perfectly fine, but because of the pet, the deal couldn't go through, because the owner was not happy with having a pet on the premises. What else? For you, the most important thing is, there are some owners or landlords, they really do great scrutiny to go through the process of renting when they see what is this person working for. So, are there any professions or any certain background of people that they don't want to rent the property to? Ask them that. That, for example, somebody is, let's suppose, for example, there are a lot of people who don't want to give it to businessmen, entrepreneurs, people who don't have a sustainable income, people working on commissions, people doing certain other jobs where there is a risk of break lease or anything like that. They would not be interested. They would rather prefer, in a more generic sense, people prefer to give it to salaried people who are working for good brands, good companies, stable income, and stable household and all that. And again, I'm being very, very specific, but yes, people also think about, let's suppose they have an open kitchen plan in the apartment. So they don't want to give it to people who cook like really spicy food and all of that, although they don't live in that apartment, but they don't want to give it. This is their own preference. This is their own personal choice. Hence, it's very important. This is why it is very important that you understand the landlord's preference. This will do half of the job.
So before listing the property of them, you should ask all these things.
Yes, ask them. Some people are fussy, some people are really particular, specific, some are not. Maybe a person is renting the property for the first time. I'm not saying make your life complicated if it is not meant to make it. I mean, don't make it unnecessarily complicated for you. If the landlord is easygoing and doesn't really bother about the fact that he really need to have a preference, it's okay. Do not bother as well. But you will get to know when you speak to the client if the client is particular, if he is easy to handle, easy to negotiate and all of that. But if that is not the case, please do this thing, because 50% of the job is done. Sit at a right price, of course you have made sure, and you have all the correct pictures from the property, and you know that there is a good pool of clients in the market, you can easily rent it to someone. Otherwise, if somebody is a new owner and has no absolute experience of renting the property, has no experience with tenants beforehand, it probably will be slightly more, he might not come up with some kind of any preferences in general, because they don't know, they haven't tested the market. Then it becomes your professional responsibility to give them awareness about the fact that, please, these are some standard practices, and as a landlord, I just want to inform you that if somebody approaches you with this and this, please do not get into that. For example, let me just clean it. मंसूर भाई, आप स्माइल कर रहे हैं, क्या हुआ है? क्या हो गया? अच्छा, दानिश को तो कोई रेंट नहीं देगा. दानिश अभी क्वालिफाई नहीं हुआ टेनेंट बनने के लिए. कुछ नहीं, मजाक कर रही हूँ. So what I was saying is कि what was I saying?
You need to aware.
Yes, just tell them a few things so that they don't fail, because the owner is not going to list the property just with you. He's listing it with 1, 2, 3 people. So you are working with ethics, and you are working with, you're putting in an effort, this and that. Try, first of all, try that you get the exclusivity. Because when you get the exclusivity, you can manage the property in a very good way, and you can rent it and all that. For that, again, as I said, if you are somebody, Dania, speaking to me and asking me everything in detail and asking about me about my preferences of the kind of tenant you want to, and the landlord can ask you this question that why are you specific about my preference? Some people are not tenant specific, they are money specific. They will say, give me 175, I'm fine. Rent it to anybody, I don't care. Some people are like, I will rent it at a lower price also, but I want a good tenant. What's your job as a broker is to understand the psychology of the landlord and to see what he prefers, what makes him feel good, what he thinks is a better way to deal with his property. However, you are going to give them certain advices which are ethical practices and which are basically, which will help him also in the long run. And I'm telling you, the best relation you can make with any client for the longest period of time is when you rent the property. When you rent the property, they will never forget you. Because renting is an easy process. The follow-up is not easy. And it's a long thing, but a lot of people, rental agents, they just rent the property and they forget about their clients. But these clients are the ones who are going to buy again, even the tenants who are going to buy again. So, if you put so much effort, energy, and give so much attention to detail to what the client actually wants, do you think he's going to give it to someone else? Versus a person, you call him and you ask him all his preferences and then ask for documents, and you're very clear in terms of your communication and the ethics and whatever you're doing, and you explain it to the client that, sir, in this building, this is the type of nationality, this is the kind of size of families that is living inside the building, and this is a pet-friendly building, and a lot of people who prefer, they are the school teachers who are teaching in this particular school, so we have a lot of client placed from this school, and this and that, and you explain to them what is happening in the building, and then you tell them and you suggest them that I would suggest that somebody who comes in with these companies might be a very good match for the property here, and if somebody comes in with, but there are a lot of, please be aware, there are a lot of people who are looking for subleasing and all that. So please, since this is your first time renting the property, make sure that you don't give it to somebody who is intending to sublease the property later on. And verification of the tenant is very important, all of that. So when you're giving this information to the client, do you think he will not listen to you? Rather, another broker who is just telling him, sir, send me all the documents, I will list the property, and then he brings in a random client. What do you think, logically, is going to happen? Again, I'm saying it's a service industry. You have to provide this service. And they really appreciate it. The owners, they will appreciate your service, but this is the hard work. This is the only hard work you're going to put in the start. Do this homework. And if you are going to do this properly, I am assuring you the client is never going to go anywhere. Tomorrow when he's going to rent again, he's going to call you. Tomorrow he's going to buy something, he's going to call you. And this is, again, I said, the best way, because what you're going to do is later on, when you get an offer, first you profile the tenant and then you send it across to the owner and telling him, sir, I've checked this, this and this is fine. We can go ahead with this. What is your take on this? So coming back to your question that how is the owner going to give you the exclusivity? It is going to, maybe not in the start. In the start, it's only your words. It's only what you are telling him and what you are committing to him and this and that. But within a 1 month's time, it is going to be your effort and your work. The number of viewings you have done, the number of clients you have brought in. The client generally, if he is given it to 3 people, he will probably cross out 2 people in the matter of a month's time, and he will focus on the one who is actually genuinely putting in the efforts and bringing in the client. It's as simple as that. A property doesn't stay in the market for more than 2 months. That's 2 to 3 months is the maximum. Generally, a property gets rented 15 to 20 days or 1 month, max. So this is very, very important. And yeah, as I said, have exclusivity. If, for example, the owner is not comfortable to give exclusivity and wants to work with 3 different brokers, it's his choice again. You can't force anybody, right? Again, as I said,
and there are many who has given already the exclusivity to someone else, then we cannot get.
And then I ask them this one simple question, sir. When did you give them the exclusivity?
Okay.
Just ask them that. If they will say, generally, people who have taken exclusivity, a lot of people, they don't really work on rental properties. Like, if somebody is given exclusivity 1 month, you will say, sir, but it still hasn't closed, right? Give me 15 days. Just try with me for 15 days or 20 days and I will show you some results. And then if you're comfortable, then you can give me exclusivity. And even if you don't give me exclusivity, I will try to get you a tenant for this. And that only happens when you are an area specialist. When you are an area specialist, you do have ready tenants and buyers because you have online listings, right? So you will get, if you don't get for this property, you'll get for that property. You can use the tenants here and there. So this is done. Now you have this tenant. Now we have the preferences from the owner. We have the preferences from the owner and now we get a call. Fahad, I'm calling you for your property, okay? What property do you have that, for which I should call you? Let's suppose we did that. A 4-bedroom townhouse, 175 to 185, 1 to 6 checks. And he's okay with pets. He prefers no Britishers, let's suppose. Generally they do. So can you take this call outside? Let's suppose he say, I want a family which has a size of 4 and somebody who is in a good designation, let's suppose a managerial post or so. And he is not interested, let's suppose, in somebody who is doing a commission-based job. Okay, so once you have this, what is this going to help you in? When you get a lead, it will help you to profile the client.
To save your time.
And it will save energy, time, whatever. This is the work that you have done already. You have invested here. It will help you in client profiling. So that if this tenant is not up to the mark or the standards of this landlord, I'm not going to go for a viewing with this tenant, right? I would rather give him something else that I have in that area, and that is going to happen only when we are area specialists. Because we are not going to waste the leads. This also can be a good tenant, but it's not a tenant up to the landlord's, this particular landlord's liking, right? So let's suppose I am calling you, Fahad. You don't know me yet, okay? So the call rings. What are you going to answer like?
Good morning, sir. Thank you for your call for your related.
You don't know if I'm a sir or a madam, right?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
Phir man. You don't know who I am, right? I haven't spoken a word yet. The call rings. I pick up the call and I say, hi, good morning. This is Farwa. How can I help you or how can I assist you with your property related inquiry today? Simple, right? And then I'm going to speak. You will get to know I'm a man or a woman or whoever I am, right? Let's do it. Do it? Yeah.
Good morning. My name is, so this is Fahad.
फाद खड़े होकर बात करें जरा जब मुझे पता चले कि आप बिल्कुल ही नर्वस ढीले ढाले ऐसे ऐसे थोड़ी होता है यार.
Good morning. Thank you for your call. My name is Fahad and I'm area specialist in Anjan.
Or you can also say it like this, by the way, this is more professional. Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Fahad. What is your full name?
Okay.
What's your full name? Fahad Khalid. Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. Write it down, guys. Maybe you will forget it and you will never. Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Fahad Khalid. I am an area, because your listings are only in Arjan, right? In Arjan, how may I assist you today? Does it sound okay? अब यहाँ से देख के पढ़ दे, लेकिन कन्विक्शन के साथ, ऐसे ठंडे जो है ना, मतलब ये कितनी दफा बताया मैंने आपको, फोन पर बंदा आपको देख नहीं सकता. They cannot see who you are. They don't know who they are talking to. So it's only the sound of your voice which is traveling to them, and that's how they're going to create a personality in front of them. That's your first impression, and your first impression has to be great, if not good. And this was like not even good. Let's do it.
Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Fahad Khalid. I am a area specialist in Anjan. How I may assist you today?
How may I assist you today? Yes, Rafia, can you repeat it for us?
Hi, this is Dr. Siri. I'm area specialist of our job.
Does it start from here? You just have to read from here.
Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Dr. Siri. I'm area specialist of our job. How may I assist you today?
दानिया की आवाज ना सुनाई भी देनी चाहिए. जरा इनको बताएं कि आवाज क्या होती है.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Dania speaking, and I am an area specialist of Shobha Harlan. How may I assist you today?
Well done. Do you feel a difference? Do you... And add if you want to. Good morning, good afternoon, you can do that. But if you're going to say, like, thank you for calling, I think I shouldn't call this person. Yes, Hiba, how are you going to say it?
Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Hiba. I am the area specialist for JBC. How may I help you today?
It's better to say, how may I assist you today?
How may I assist you?
It sounds better generally. Write it down, guys. Write it down. This is how you should respond to a call when somebody's calling on your listing. Ha, Mansoor, how are you going to say that?
Good morning. Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Mansoor. How can I assist you?
I'm an area specialist in Arjan. How may I assist you? Or it's up to you. However, this is how. Yes, Harsh.
Very good morning.
Very good morning nahi hota. It's grammatically incorrect.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Myself Harshvardhan.
Again. All right.
I prolong the conversation with a
Do this. I am telling you that there are certain things that we say which are grammatically incorrect. I don't want to mention it to you right now. We can talk about it later. However, we have to follow proper English. There are some things that we use certain adjectives, the way we say myself, this, and it doesn't sound really professional, honestly speaking. It's a desi way of speaking English. And we are going to standardize it so that we sound professional. And also, just like we don't like to categorize people, we don't like people to categorize us also. We want to sound standard the way it is so that nobody, get that kind of impression from us that we are unprofessional. It sounds unprofessional if you will speak in a certain way. Hence, this.
Like again, I'm an area specialist being very honest.
Yes.
When I have a word with anybody, if he says yes or no over the call,
This is a call that you're taking, somebody is calling you, you are not calling someone. So what I'm saying is that this is your response. This will show your professionalism to the client. This will show that you are ready for the call.
Yeah, I'm ready for a call. I receive a call, I answer a call.
No. That's what I'm trying to explain, Harsh. इतनी देर से that this should be at the back of your head. कभी भी phone आएगा, thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. This is Farwa. I'm an area specialist. How may I assist you today? You've called in for a certain property. Then they will talk about what property. We will get to speak to them. We are going to profile them. But first, you are putting in your impression, right? They're calling someone. So if you will say very good morning, wrong. There's no very good morning. There is no 200%. There's so many things which are wrong that we say it wrong. So let's correct them. So it's done, right? So this client says that, Fahad, coming back to you. You introduce yourself. Hi, my name is John. I've seen your property. This is 4-bedroom townhouse in Villanova. Or I will say, I've seen this property online. We are on a call, Fahad.
So, sir, which property?
Which property? First of all, you would know, right, what kind of properties you have online? And you are an area specialist, let's say. So, for example, you said Arjan. So, I will say, I've seen this 2-bedroom in in what tower is it? Yeah, in Joya Blanca, let's say. I've seen this 2-bedroom in Joya Blanca.
Yes, it's available.
It's available. So it's available for rent.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to come and see it.
Okay. Let me check with my calendar and I will let you know the availability.
You don't know who I am. What's my budget? Does it fits in my budget? What's my nationality? What's the preference of the landlord? You haven't said anything accordingly. And also, there are some prerequisites when somebody is renting. First, let me tell you that as well so that it becomes more clear for you. Who can do a long-term lease in Dubai? What is a long-term lease? Anything which is 1 year and more. Rafia, tenancy contract or a yearly contract, a yearly rental contract. These are all the words that we generally use. This is the most standard term, which is a tenancy contract for 1 year. A long-term lease. Who can do? Dania? The most important thing that you first need to ask from this person. For example, I am new to Dubai. I just landed. I am sorted. I have money. And I want to rent the property. Dania, can you initiate a call with me? No, I'm the, yeah, you are the broker. I called you for a 2-bedroom property in Arjan, okay? 2-bedroom apartment. And I've seen that it is listed for, let's say, 100,000 dirhams. And this is the scenario, and I'm calling you. Yeah, so I've seen this property online in this building, Joya Blanca. You have 2-bedroom?
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, yes.
Who am I speaking with? Can I know your name?
This is Parva.
Hi, Parva. Good morning. How are you?
All good, all good. How about you?
Thank you for calling ANW Real Estate. Yes, the query you're talking about is available currently.
All right, so can I come and have a look at it?
Yes, you can, but I need a few things first that I want to know. Because, like, are you looking for yourself or are you looking for a client?
Let's put it here. She's asked me, are you looking for yourself or a client? Why she asked it, Mansoor? You have to first of all profile. A lot of these situations happen and you had a long conversation with this guy and this guy comes in for viewing and this guy is a broker. So we want to eliminate this thing so that we don't waste our time. That is it a client or a broker? Because if it is a broker, what you have to do with them, Fahad? Share the commission and also sign a A2A form first. You cannot give all details to the broker just like that. They might steal your client or steal your property. Happens, normal. Yes, Dania. I'm looking for myself.
Oh, that's great. So, ma'am, I just want to know how many person are you, like, how many members will be there, and what is your budget?
It's just me and my husband, and we've just moved from Canada. So this is our first month in Dubai, and we really like it here. So we are looking to, settle down here. So I just came here, and it's my first month in Dubai. Do you think I have a visa? You can't assume. Maybe I have, but you're supposed to ask me that, right?
Okay.
This is profiling, guys. Please keep your eyes and mind open. You have to ask the basic questions. Anybody who is in Dubai and is a resident of Dubai can only do a tenancy contract. Somebody who has the Emirates ID. If I am new in Dubai and I came on a visit visa, can I rent, Rafia? On a visit visa? Yes? No. This is the first and the foremost question. Yes, Dania?
So then hopefully you will be the resident of Dubai as well, right?
I think so, because we just came in. I don't think so. We have the residence visa as of now. We just came in. We have a 30 days visa. Yeah.
30 days visa.
Yeah.
So how long so far you're planning to live here? Are you planning to get your own visa here or how?
Yeah. So my husband just got a job and he will soon get his visa done and also will sponsor me. So this is how we are going to be here.
Okay, that's great, no problem. So in this particular case, we can do the viewing, and if you would like to view the
No, you cannot do.
मैम अभी उसका वीजा प्रोसेस में है, so maybe you never know अगर you तो करना है तो
No, that's again This clarity is not just for you, it's the clarity for me as well.
Okay.
I am a new person in Dubai and I do not know about the rental process. I do not know about how long does it take for getting a visa stamped. I don't know how long does it take for a bank account to open. I don't know when my checkbook will come in. And do you think you'll wait for 2 months for me? And you don't know, you as a broker don't know, where is my visa application? Have I signed the contract yet? Have I found the job? Have the person applied for the Emirates ID? Have they done it? Is it in process? Do you know all of that information? So how can you determine a timeline? This property might not stay listed for 30 days and maybe these people will take 45 days to complete everything, because it's not just the it's not just the Emirates ID. We also need mode of payment, right?
Yes.
So the mode of payment is generally, and the most reliable is checks. People don't accept cash generally here. And the checks will come from where? When you will have a bank account. And you will have a bank account when? When you will have an Emirates ID. Correct or not? So do you understand? This is the first and the foremost question. If I'm telling you that I'm new in Dubai and I still don't, so now ask me the question. Again I'm telling you that I've just recently moved to Dubai with my husband, and it's just been a few days, and what we are trying to do is he's gotten a job offer, so that's what we're working on. So that's why we're staying in the hotel right now, so we're looking for a property.
So ma'am, do you have any idea how much time will it take? Did he get already the
Sit down, Basit. She can't see. Okay.
Did he already get the employment visa or not yet, or still in process?
Yeah, he has already signed his employment contract and all that. He already signed when before coming to Dubai. So his PRO is telling him that everything is in process. So maybe another 15 days.
Okay, ma'am. Completely understand. The thing is, unfortunately, I cannot ask you to view the property until unless you don't have your own resident visa here.
This is not how you're going to say it, Dania. Again, you are not going to.
Yeah, I never done that.
It's okay. That is why nobody has an idea here, right? So if I will give you this information that in 15 days my employment contract has been signed and documents have been sent across, and maybe they are saying that in 15 days everything will be processed and I will get my Emirates ID. So even when the labor contract is signed and you do your medical after that, correct?
Yes.
And what happens after that? Once you do the medical, you receive medical and fingerprint, and right after that the Emirates ID might come after a few weeks or after a few days or a week or so, but you get your letter for Emirates ID. Yet your Emirates ID has been applied and it has your Emirates ID number on top of it. So with that you can still sign a contract because you're in the system, right? So if she's saying 15 days, what are you going to tell? You're not going to offend her by saying or tell her, no, get out of my face, it's not possible for you, I can't show you the property, you don't have the documents. Yeah, she's already in process. And if you not give her the property, and you are an area specialist, so you don't have just this property, you can, once she gets ready, you can give her this other property. So you are going to still keep a relation with the client. You'll explain to her, that's where you'll give her the information and the knowledge that you have, that madam, 15 days sounds good. However, let me just explain you the rental process. This property has been listed for the last 10 days and we have already received a couple of offers. At the moment, if your documents are not ready, and then you might not be able to rent it immediately while the owner is looking, depends again on the owner. If the owner, again, you haven't profiled the client yet in terms of what kind of nationality she has, how many number of checks can she prefer, maybe she's the particular nationality that the owner might prefer, or her husband works for this particular company that can give the number of one check or two checks payment, and that might. So you're going to explain to her the process. Madam, can you check with your husband and maybe he can check in his company? How long will it exactly take for your Emirates ID document to come in? Because for that document, you can definitely do a contract and all. But obviously before that, you need to like the property and see the property and all. So we can look into that. But again, if you like the property and you cannot take immediate action, whoever comes first might take it, right? So you give this information to the client first. And then, for example, I say that, oh yes, my husband has already applied and his Emirates ID is in process. We also received a document from the PRO which says the Emirates ID number.
Okay, ma'am. So
Yes, Mansoor. Why are you confused, Dania? You have not done rental before?
Only one.
Only one? Okay, perfect.
And even without listing.
Okay. What are you going to ask me? Rafi, are you getting it? You're the next.
Okay, Emirates ID is still in process.
It's yeah, it's in process. We got the Emirates ID number also.
Okay. But still we need the checks written, so you need to open a bank account, which takes about like 1 to 2 weeks. So first you need to get the bank account.
Okay, even better way to put it across is that that's totally understandable, ma'am. You have this Emirates ID in place and all. Until you have the Emirates ID document exactly, we won't be able to process the rest of the things like your Diva account and all that. So that's a mandatory document. Please note this, that there is a certain process of rent which happens like when you have your, sorry, let me just put it over here. Once you have the Emirates ID, if you are a resident and have an Emirates ID, you can start the process of rent, correct? So right now we're talking about what is happening before, but I'm just writing these here so that you can also verify what all is there and you will not get confused. Once you have the Emirates ID and the checkbook, this is very, very important. We will also talk about if somebody doesn't have the checkbook, what are they going to do in that case? Then immediately take them for the viewing and all that. Once, let's suppose they find everything is good, the offer is given, the offer is accepted. Tenancy signed. And after the signing of the tenancy contract, Ijari contract, registration. And once you have the Ijari contract registration, which is the registration of your tenancy contract, you automatically apply for Diva connection, which is the most basic connection, which is Dubai Electricity and Water Authority. And sometimes you also need to do the chiller connection, which is your AC connection, your gas connection. Sometimes there is, sometimes there's not, optional, depending on the building or the property. And your internet, of course, it's as per the choice of client, whether they need a internet connection or not. But these are the.
We ask about the nationality. We cannot ask them what is your name.
You can ask.
They might ask.
No. First you ask them their name. You will get to know when you speak. As I said, the way you speak, how you speak, will tell you a lot about the person. You will get to know what is their accent like. You will get to know what are they talking about. Half of the information will be there. Okay, you will get to establish a little bit of information, like if they are Arabic, if their accent is like that, if they are from Asia, Pakistani, Indians, which are the most number of clients here, Sri Lankan, or let's suppose somebody is coming from Canada or or somebody is a British, or you will get to know from their accents, right? It's very basic. So you don't ask that final question. This specific details you can ask when you meet them at the viewing. But you will have an idea about it. So why I'm saying all of this is the process of complete rental. Now we are just stuck here that this person is not a resident. First of all, if the person has no clue about how to take a visa, this and that, thank you very much, ma'am. It's not possible for you to rent this property because you need to be a resident of Dubai. And for her to start the process, do this and that, it will take 30 to 40 days. So by that time, my landlord will not wait till then. So we will let the tenant go. Second situation, when the tenant comes in and says, yeah, it's in process and in a few days I will get this. And then I will go to the bank and open my bank account as well, and I will get my checkbook. If I don't get my checkbook in time, I can ask my friend or sister or brother or relative or boss to issue checks on my behalf. Can he do that? Can he do that? Can he do that? Danish? Rafia, can somebody issue checks on behalf of someone?
Yes.
No? Yes? No? Sinan? Can somebody issue checks on behalf of someone they're giving when they're renting the property?
They have the power.
Okay.
If they have a really personal relationship, then
They can.
Yes, obviously
They can. Any random person can issue checks on behalf of someone. What are we supposed to do? We are supposed to get an indemnity letter signed. It's called a third party letter that that A person is issuing checks on behalf of B person, and tomorrow in case of any problem, this A person is responsible for these checks and not the B person. This person signs it, gives its document, checks are issued.
that will be guaranteed.
It's no, they are the checks for the this thing. That's a very common practice. So a lot of new people who come to Dubai and have the visa in place, but their bank accounts are not into place. So they do that.
what is the term for that particular?
The document is called, those are third party checks. It's called indemnity letter that we sign. It's a third party letter which is like authorizing someone else to make a payment on behalf of you. Do you get it? So I can issue checks on behalf of you if I want to, and you can accept it with the indemnity letter signed because we have the paperwork in place.
In tenancy contract also we can add a clause. This is a individual who is going to pay any further checks on the behalf of me and he is responsible for that. In tenancy contract there are a couple of lines.
So a tenancy contract gets registered and becomes an ijari contract. The addendum does not get registered. So what is legal is just what's written on the contract first and second paper. In the addendum, I can write whatever I want to write. It doesn't get registered, so it doesn't have a legal value, although we do make specific addendums. But when we go to the court or in case of any dispute, it doesn't stand anywhere. It has no value. That is why this is a legal document, an indemnity letter. It's an authority letter, a third party letter. This is a legal letter. We can take it to the court. That,
So who will be responsible for the check?
this person who is issuing the checks.
If Fahad is coming, he has a visitor's visa or he's getting another side, but I'm issuing my checkbook. Then who will
You are responsible. So the indemnity letter says that I, Mansoor, I'm giving checks on behalf of Fahad to this landlord for this property. It's a rental check. And tomorrow, if there is any problem, then there is no dispute. I mean, you will not come tomorrow and say, no, I didn't give these checks, or no, please don't deduct money from this check. It's not, I am not the part of the tenancy. The tenancy contract is in his name, not in your name. But you are issuing checks on behalf of him.
So I will be responsible.
You will be responsible for the check payments.
If the check will bounce, then
You are responsible. He is cleared. He has given your checks.
Or let's suppose once he gets his checkbook, so can we replace the check with one?
Of course, that's what we do. So we do that, we facilitate clients, but we do not encourage this practice because it puts two different parties into difficult situations. And also for us tomorrow to run after this person and that person is very difficult. So what we do is, if we are accommodating such a request from a tenant, we only accommodate it until they have their own checkbook so they can replace it. And most of the time it happens until unless the company's owner or the company's, let's suppose I'm working for a company and my company's owner is giving checks or the company is giving checks. That's a different scenario altogether. Yeah, that is reliable. So but that will be in the case when you are renting the property to a company. So then the company is going to issue checks, not the individual.
are we giving the copy of the check with Ijal when we registering Ijal? Copy of the check.
No, copy of checks are not there. It's just the contract.
So when they are replacing the check like that, we don't need to go to anywhere or anything.
No.
Return them the check and take
No, we just cancel the indemnity letter, no? And take acknowledgement and give receipt to the owner that these checks were received before, indemnity was signed, these were the checks, now we are taking it back because this person